Sorry, this is just getting one in because I know I left a little bit early from the last one due to technical difficulties, and I wasn't able to get another actual game running, so apologies for all the confusion there, but I have figured it out now, and I am back to doing a game that actually functions when I try and stream with a window. I will test other games, but so far this is the only one that seems to have been working for me consistently. And don't worry, it's not that much of a problem. I'm sure the 4 or 5 people who show up here will have just as many questions as the last folks. And I'm sorry I kind of cut them off. Apologies for that. I would like to know people's opinion on when we should stream in future. But we will see. Special powers. I forget what the enchanter actually does. Oh, he makes stuff. That's his whole deal. I can make gargoyles. Wonder how those work. Let's try and make one. Oh. Let's make a couple of those, actually. Nothing wrong with a little extra gargoyle or two. Got captains. We probably want some actual ranged units. Need some archers. Yeah, I assumed the gargoyles would be a purely defensive unit, which is fine. Still works just as well as anything else. Yeah. Levies are trash, but they are worth taking because their villages are actually worth a decent amount of gold. Tall dwarf. Pretty solid name for these guys. Oh, hella bandits. Led by a scout, too. Moose. All taken care of. This seems like kind of a primitive world, but no, works fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. He's a big buffman. That's pretty solid. Archers to help out with the rest of it. We really do need a mine as this guy because he requires so much resources just to be able to function. Fortitude, Herculean soldiers, and fortune. The other one has iron skin and luck. Iron skin isn't bad, but luck is kind of useless. Or it seems useless. I haven't seen it be too helpful just yet. Cyclops? How strong are these? I have lots of ranged units, so I'm confident. Let's do it. Come out of your house. Get shot with arrows. Feeble-minded and never healing wound. Alright. Oh, he's gonna die quickly. There we go. All taken care of. I'm gonna do this for about another hour. And then we'll be just fine. We got lots of hamlets and stuff here. What the hell is that? Got demons. Demon casters. Monstrous creatures. Farmer's Tower. Alright. Summoning stuff to the Farmer's Tower. This. And can I use some powers? He requires gold for power, so I need to create golems. That's the big thing with him. Alright. That works just fine. Oh, somebody joined us? Hi, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Glad you're joining us. We're just back for a little bit, because I cheated people out of the last, 5 minutes of last stream. And I don't want to do that, because I know people are into watching more and more of these, so I'm aware that I need to remain consistent and not be a massive pain in the ass. Also, I do just enjoy playing games, and I think recording them is not a terrible idea. This is not the most exciting one, but you know, the value in excitement is often overvalued. And the more people we have, the more fun these tend to be. The only way I can do that is wait 15-20 minutes and see if anyone shows up. Otherwise, I guess if nobody shows up for the whole hour, that's a quiet, chill video. Holy shit, there's like 30 bandit camps in here. Where are all these motherfucking bandits coming from? Alright, crossbowman. Worth it. Bandits and brigands. I don't know what the difference between bandits and brigands exactly is. Maybe it's... Oh no, they have scouts. That's what they are. Excuse me, a Draco lion. What in the fuck is that? Half dragon, half lion. Cool. Yeah, let's not any of that, actually. Oh, halberdiers and a captain and an ice witch with a fire sword. That seems a little counterintuitive, but alright. An ice witch with a fire sword. That seems, yeah, a little bit odd. Alright, heavy infantry, that'll be helpful. And then the next unit we're going to get is some archers. Probably some crossbowmen, actually. That way we have a slightly more reasonable army. We're going to recruit one more unit of crossbowmen. I got lots of folks coming in on the other side of the stream. Is that a freaking dragon? Yeah, Tatsu. So I got a Ying Lung, like a Chinese dragon. Oh, it's the Ying Lung. Shoot him to death with arrows. Pretty solid. Easy enough. Standard Ying Lung behavior. Don't ask how I know what type of dragon that is. I just do. A hero. I'll do. Ooh, I can get an enchanter's apprentice. Not worth it. Pretty much 100% not worth it. We're gonna get some more crossbowmen. Excuse me, what item does he have? A nomad's helmet. Well, he summons a wolf. Weird. Alright. I don't question it. Alright. Let us fight these angry swans. Also, dwarves. If you don't know, this game has a particular thing with dwarves. They are really annoying, and they spread really fast, much like a disease. Because dwarves are a disease, and they are foul creatures of the night, and they are insects in this game. Or about as near as to make no difference. Alright, more crossbowmen. I feel like to siege the city, I just need an unbelievable number of crossbowmen. Yeah, that's about right. Oh, there's the dwarves. Time to absolutely murder them, I guess. Or try to. That was a fast-moving dwarf. Why does he get to move faster than me? That makes absolutely no sense. Enter gateway. Okay, I guess I can't. That doesn't make sense. Okay, time to get rid of some swans. I am not allowed to kill the swans. This is horse shit. Alright, 10. Gonna get some swordsmen. Nice solid infantry. is a griffin. Ooh, he has bottle of children's tears. Why do you have that? Why would anyone have that? That's a really odd item to have. I don't think anyone wants a bottle of children's tears. Alright. Now I can just toss another set of crossbowmen here. Alright, I wonder if I can kill him. I'm pretty confident. Yeah, this dude has some really solid spellcasting, so I think he'll be fine. Speed this up a bit. Yep, that'll work. No idea exactly what that's going to do for me, since I don't have troll magic or any other type of that magic. But I do have creation magic, so I should be fine for a bit, I guess. Alright, there we go. Finally. God, it took me long enough. Winter slows you down to 1 tile apiece. Gonna make that 10 crossbowmen. The more... Oh, more dwarves. God damn. Nice and easy. We just have to take this city and then we'll be fine. Okay, we have to take the city and then we have to deal with the literal dwarven menace on our borders, apparently. So I was not expecting the literal nightmare scenario of 1,000 dwarves marching northward against us. Alright. Bring it all you got, ice bitch. I have so many archers, it's not even funny. Yeah, just shoot her to death. Yep. Works perfectly fine. Easy. Burning sword. Works. Yeah. The dwarves will pretty much just keep moving against my own units until they start making actual trouble. Which is apparently now, because that's independence. Okay. No, that's fine. Nope, you are so dead. See, the dwarves send out these tiny little annoying colony units that come and make trouble and take unprotected settlements, but don't actually do anything. Like, they're not fighting units, they're just random groups of basically raiders. And they send them out, gosh darn it, and they send them out en masse. Whoa, oh my god, that's some blood armor. Blood armor and a crystal heart. That'll do. I could use both of those things. Shoot him to death. That'll do. Alright, well, I suppose that works. See, a couple units of infantry usually takes care of the dwarves. But the issue is that I need lots of units. Oh, god damn it. Alright, well. That's one. Now we just have to not lose the other citadel, basically. Alright, so the whole goal here is going to be set up some spearmen. Yeah, nobody. That works just fine. Do one couple months. I hope they die via ice. But I doubt they will. Just hold that one citadel and we should be fine. I don't know why they're so freaking strong. Really? Bandits took this? Bandits? You kidding me? That's beyond ridiculous. Why is he so quick? God damn, they're moving over the ice like it's not freaking there. Alright. We should be able to beat them here. Got plenty of bonuses. Lots of magic items. We should be just fine. This dude has been going through it. He's got Death Witch and Lost an Eye. We just have to keep the one citadel we have very strong. Oh my god, we lost the library again. You know what? Screw it. I don't even care anymore. The library can go to hell. Yep, nope, I'm taking this. This is mine. Yeah, see, they just leave one little dwarf to hold this entire thing, and that's their entire defense. That's the whole thing. One random outdoor dwarf. And that's the entire defense that they leave in charge of an actual citadel. Which, granted, is better than mine, but still absolutely ridiculous that that's how they function as like a faction. All right, time to stop messing around and start doing fun things. See, usually I just stick around for an hour, half an hour, and that's the redemption stream. Hopefully this will be something where I can stick into it for a little bit longer, and I can give you guys some more content, because... Oh, hero. Yep, I had a feeling there's literally nothing wrong with that area. It's literally just garbage BS. Spearmen. Need a little bit more melee units. Oh, well. Heroes come and go. Alright, let's do a gargoyle or two here. Just to make sure that this area is fully protected. And much like before, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? We're going to murder these dwarves. Yeah, no. Try me. I got hella gargoyles. Yeah, I gotta find where all these dwarves are coming from, otherwise we're just gonna get beat. Alright, we're gonna grab some archers, because we don't have crossbowmen right now. Please die. What? Bruh. Dwarves are actually the most annoying enemies in this game. Oh my god. Alright, small. Let's go with agricultural. Enable score graphs. I'll pick Warlock this time. Why not? Spellslinger. Take out some bandits and slingers. I'm not sure how the crystal mechanics work in this game. I know that they're a thing with certain spellcasting factions, but not entirely sure the actual function of that system. Yep, we just keep fighting. Every turn we get into another combat. What's our magic looking like? Lightning resistance, don't need it. Dehydration and earth grip, not bad. He's got kind of the elemental magics on his side. Alright. Just gotta keep killing all these barbarians. Should be easy to do. See, they're just small little groups. We execute them as we go along, and then we should be able to get some decent units. Let's get some archers. Special power. See, seals packed. I will get an air summoning in a couple of turns, so let's stick with that. Yeah, 2 more turns, we should be good. And I'll also save up so I can get some more stuff. Alright. Air summoning. I have summoned angry clouds. Yeah. I had a feeling independents are just going to be everywhere on this map. Which, while annoying, is not actually the end of the world. Archers. So you always want to have nice, cheap archers on your defensive structures so that they can't just get obliterated by every single other unit. Oh, is that a sacred moose? What in God's name? Well, Sacred Moose has absolutely obliterated my entire army, and that's it. Holy hell. Let's go with random, score graphs, and I will pick random. Alright, Satyr. That'll work. Penosis. The rollicking randy satyr folk. We're trying to get as many woods as possible, because that's how we get our main buffs as her. We can summon animals and such. But I think she moves slower in certain other terrain. Yeah. Create Sacred Grove. Plant Hamadryad. That's the thing there where she gets extra things, but I'll get some lesser mastery so that I can actually get some decent summoning spells up. Levies. Easy to get rid of. Special power. Let's do lesser mastery. Bramble Fort. Well, that's not as good. That's not what I wanted. I kind of want to call animals spell, and I know she has that. What are her spells? Strength, Fortitude, Command, Beast, and Charm. Yeah, that's about right. Charm is really good. Charm can give you a bigger army. Yeah. And I basically just have a whole bunch of satyrs and stuff. And that's the fucking end, because I walked on a tiny piece of water. Let's try again. Because I do actually like her campaigns a lot. Alright, slightly different spawn this time. High Lord and 2 knights. We should be able to charm at least one of the knights, I hope. Come on, cast it. Oh, she's got rocks. Magic Stones, Command Beast, and Charm. I think we can get rid of Magic Stones. Oh, double Charm. That'll do. Alright, try again. Want to get friend... Oh, I can get all 4? No, I need to get rid of 1. Magic Stone. So we want to do Command Beast, Charm, and that. I want to get her to cast Command Beast on this thing. Yep. So we can get a free giant unit. Pretty useful, TBH, in like every army to get a Charm spell. because it allows you to get, like, random enemy faction units in your army, which is a great pick. Hoplite commanders. All these kind of satyr units are just kind of dog water. They're not great. Special powers, what does she have? Yeah, minor animal summoning. That's the one I wanted, because that can give you, like, snakes and spiders and all kinds of stuff. Hi, yeah, welcome back. Hi. Glad to have you back. Sorry I've been so frenetic in and out recently. There was a initial issue with the stream, and then I was trying to set it back up. And then while I was trying to do that, the game I was trying to play crashed. So I just tried again. And now we are back, and I'm probably going to need to go in a couple seconds to get water, but I will continue to stream for at least another hour or two. So, hop on in. Yeah, Skitarii are tough. Yeah, I don't feel like you need to come to the actual streams. Again, if there's nobody who shows up, I just won't post them. But, yeah, it's not a requirement. You guys come here when you want to, like, ask questions. That's why I want to set these up as, like, a weekly thing. So I'll post a couple of videos in a week, and then I will do a long 2-3 hour stream so anyone who has questions can come in and say, hey, man, why isn't there this, or why isn't there that, or why didn't you talk about X or Y? That I will be able to, you know, answer for. Alright, Bramblefort. I think I'm just going to spend the rest of it on animal summoning. What Forge World are you doing your Skitarii for? Is it Mars? Homebrew Forge World? I'd respect Homebrew. I have a friend who does a lot of Skitarii painting, and he has relayed to me many times how he wishes to tear his own fingernails out after he actually completes the project. Oh, yeah. Oh, you have Custodes theme. Yep. It's tough. Custodes can sometimes be a real massive pain to paint, even though you might not expect it. Homebrewed Imperial Talon Mechanicus. That's not impossible. I mean, it's definitely not normal, but I could see it happening for sure. I literally make a buck per turn. This is the dumbest build I've ever seen for anything. Alright. Let's grab whatever we have here, whatever BS that is, and then send ourselves down. See, I really do want to talk at some point about the Talons of the Emperor, or the Eyes of the Emperor, the kind of custodians who have chosen to retire, kind of, or at least chosen to no longer be in the Emperor's service traditionally. Because I think it's a really interesting idea that they can retire, essentially. And I think the idea that they not necessarily pick when they retire, but they kind of pick and choose when they consider themselves worthy or just otherwise when they're ready to go, you know? Well, what do you mean by a Imperial Talon combat servitor? You mean like a combat servitor who serves with the Talons, or are you talking like a custodian who you turn into a servitor? Because while I respect the idea of turning a custodian into a servitor, I don't know if they would do that. Yeah. So more like that, okay, it's a combat servitor who serves with them, not a custodian who somebody servitorized. Because I feel like somebody... Yeah, I would say, I was like, that sounds like something that the Custodes would not only not appreciate, but probably try and get you killed for trying to do. Oh, it would be so heretical. Though, plenty of dead Custodes around after certain battles, I'm sure that the Dart Mechanicus would just love to turn one of them into a servitor. I think they'd find that hilarious. Yes, we are all, quote-unquote, Mechanicus fans here. Depending on, you know, your definition of words. I think I did a pretty okay job with the Mechanicus video, though I will say you guys are the ones who encouraged me to do Knights and Titans videos, and they are coming. Believe me, they are the next ones up on the list after I do Tau Adversaries, and that one, while I can't say that it's going to be a perfect video, I can absolutely say that it's going to be a whale of a time. And I'm going to enjoy myself both making fun of and analyzing the realism of the Tau. Keys of Hell style Custodes? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good Custodes, like, stories in general. Some are a little bit more reasonable than others. You know me, I like to take the worst possible versions of good units and the best possible versions of bad units and kind of use them as the baseline. So when I compare Custodes to anything, people are gonna get mad at me. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the rage, for the anger to boil over. You know, somebody's gonna show up at my door with a pitchfork and an angry letter, tell me that they think that Henry Cavill's Golden Boys should beat my face in. It'll happen. I'm excited for it actually, because it's happened before. Yeah. The bias level with Custodes is an exponential increase over those with Space Marines, and you guys have already seen how I treat Space Marines. I treat them as superhuman, but nothing more. And that's how I will continue to treat them. And Custodes are the same exact thing. There's no real functional difference between them in how I analyze them, at least. Man. See, this is the cool thing about this unit. You just go into the forest and you get all these free infantry units off of... Oh! Is that the... Oh, it's a Bishop of L. Unexpected? Well, there's one extra unit. Let's go get him. Get him! He is a Tervagant of the Bishop. Oh no, it's a Tyrannid. A Tervagant. Yeah, see, that's one of the things that I really hate. It's a little bit of a biased thing with Eldar, but it's way worse with Custodians. People treat... Oh, Harlequins are so bad, too. People treat them like they're literally invulnerable to anything, and they just murder everything. I swear to God, I don't know how Harlequins who don't have a melee weapon deal with 90% of the stuff they deal with. I know they're quick, but really that seems to be their only advantage, other than being, like, Dark Eldar talented at combat. So, Custodians are the same thing. They're just the Harlequins of Space Marines. They're a cut above. They are made via arcane means as well. That's the other thing. I think that adding Custodes to the lore as a faction that can go out and get killed was a bad idea. I think they should have just left them as the Emperor's protectors, like his Praetorian Guard, because, my God, did they open up a can of worms with the idea that the Custodians can be essentially produced in any amount of numbers. Like, I know it's a really small number that can be produced, but anything above 0 makes it really, really hard to take them seriously. Yeah. That's the other thing, by the way. The Custodes are kind of valued, and they say, like, oh, where a Space Marine is taught to fight in a group and with a squad, a Custodes is an army in and of himself. And I'm like, well, that's dumb as hell. Why do they fight in groups then, you idiot? Like, are we pretending that the Custodes don't deploy in a 1,000-man group in every time they've ever fought together? The only exception being the Shield brothers who go out and protect people who are very important to the Emperor. And those guys can die. It's a funny thing. If you want to look it up, I actually wrote a short story about this. It's called The Story of Gallinius, or The Tale of Gallinius. It is it is what I considered a realistic scenario where human beings could kill a custodian. And it's actually a really good story, and I read it back because it's very fun. Yeah, them leaving the Emperor puts the entire Imperium at risk. I agree. It does. No one seems to care. No one cares. I'm sorry. Holy shit, would you look at the stats of that bitch? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is like 10 gold. This is the most expensive piece of real estate I've ever seen in my life. Holy crap. Alright, well, I'm just gonna sit here and charm the beasts! But yeah. I have so many issues with custodian lore and with stuff like that. I wrote that story almost out of spite. I was like, well, if Marines can never die, well, or if custodians can never die, I'm damn well gonna write a way in which I can kill them. And that was my reasoning. Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't get any better when they get into combat in, like, a war. Because, absolutely, 100%, you can have a custodian who just happens to be in the way of an artillery barrage. And then what are they going to do? It doesn't matter how good you are at acrobatics. If you're in the way of a 132mm high explosive shell, you're dead. It doesn't matter how mobile or how tough you are. You're dead. You're atomized. There's nothing left of you to recover from. And I've had this conversation with other people where they go like, oh, well, they can dodge it and they know it's coming ahead of time. I'm like, really? They know it's coming ahead of time? Then why didn't they tell anyone else? Are they just dicks? Like, are they just horrible people? It's a real question that you have to ask, because people pretend like they're practically immune to all damage. And also, if I'm being honest, I think that it would be a more reasonable thing to say that they're, you know, tough to kill and that they're very talented fighters, rather than just saying, oh, they're basically immune to everything. Goddamn, yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly! There's such a massive difference between the custodians in the modern lore and the custodians from the heresy. We act like the custodians in the heresy just did, like they don't exist. Like they never died. Like, over 100+ custodians die holding the Eternity Gate. They get slaughtered on Terra. They die like everyone else does. Like, I never understood that. They pretend, like, it's difficult. It's obviously difficult, but the Traitor Legions straight up slaughter a ton of the Custodes. And everyone just says, nah, but there were, like, millions of them. And it's like, it doesn't matter if there's millions of them. They're killable. They didn't die from a million people shooting them at once. They died because somebody actually landed a lethal hit. That doesn't mean they're immune to everything. That means there are things that can kill them. But yeah, that's going to be a long, long video complaining about the Custodes. I'm not butthurt, I promise. It's just, every time that I have something good for Chaos, especially for Mortals, the Tale of Gallinius was supposed to be an example of, like, Mortals can kill a Custodian. It's hard, but it can be done. And it was a realistic scenario in which it could happen during the Sabbat Worlds Crusade. And straight up, the first reaction that I got to that story was, well, that Custodian's too emotional. I'm like, you realize he's a soldier, right? Like, they're raised from human stock. This is another thing with Marines. People say that Marines don't have emotions. Since when? Since when have Marines been unfeeling? That's insanity. Like, Marines they show emotions all the time. I mean, they're not base emotions like lust or love or greed, but absolutely emotions. They have feelings. And the idea that just doesn't apply to other units just ticks me off, because, you know, of course it does. Of course it applies to other units. And people just go right ahead and say, oh yeah. Yeah. The Euphrates Keeler situation was particularly interesting. Yeah, a great point. They're functional companions. They're not lobotomized creatures. They are very good warriors, obviously, but you treat them more like the Theban band. You know, if you know Greek history, the Theban band are a bunch of gay couples who are all warriors under. They're the sacred band of Thebes. They're all warriors working together, essentially fighting alongside their lovers, quite literally. And that was the whole point with them. Yeah. And I would not see the custodians any other way. They are the bodyguards, the companions to the Emperor. Absolutely, they're not just inhuman. Also, this is a massive moose. Holy hell! But yeah, they're absolutely not without emotion. Sure, they might have stuff to suppress emotions, and they might be trained to not let emotions get in the way of their fighting. But saying that they feel no emotion is an insane take. An insane take. Call of Gaia. Yeah, let's go. See, I like that ability because it gives me just a whole bunch of, like, hoplons for free. See, there's a Baron somewhere over there because you can see all these knights and all these war dogs. They're unique to him. I'm just going to sit here until that dwarf comes out of her hole, and then I'm going to murder her and take all of her territory. I've got 31 units there. I'm perfectly safe. I should be all good. See, I want to take that mountain really bad, because it's got really nice buffs. Minor animal summoning. Yeah. And one of the things about that exact situation with the Admech, that one priest, I really wonder if he counts as the first Dark Tech priest, because he kills a custodian, right? He kills a custodian, and on top of that, he kills him with a Castellan robot. Does that imply that he is the first person of the Adeptus Mechanicus to ever turn technology against the Imperium? Just an interesting idea, you know? Is he the first one to ever do that? Do we count him as the first Dark Tech priest? I mean, obviously he dies, but still, interesting concept. Is he the first Dark Tech priest? Is he the first Dark Adept or something like that? Interesting ideas. Interesting ideas. And the fact that he actually succeeds, you know, it's one of the other interesting things about that thing, about that passage. What is that Castellan robot actually armed with? He just has 2 heavy bolters. That's it. And that's all he needs to kill one custodian and injure another. Same exact book, same exact story. What else do they do to kill a custodian? It's 1 Custodes against 5 Galvorback. Tell me with an honest, open face that 5 possessed in the modern Imperium could kill a custodian. I guarantee you 100% of the time, an Imperium fan would tell you that would never happen. They would get their asses handed to them. That's what they would tell you. Even though, canonically, 5 Galvorback is an effective force that can kill a custodian. In lore, in canon, legit. So, again, that's under specific circumstances, yes, but either way, that's a good barometer by which to measure the strength and power of a custodian. And it isn't like that Custodes is, you know, untalented. It's not like he's of, you know, some lesser caste. He's a legit custodian. Always fight the Imperium in open warfare politically? I mean, yes, but they also fight each other just as much. That's a good question. My question would be, does it matter? Does human versus marine possessed actually matter? I would argue, to a degree, it doesn't. Because, at the end of the day, possessed have the demon in the driver's seat. Which means that it's the demon that, to a great degree, determines the power of the individual. So, let's say it like this. The Galvorback are equivalent to the Kimura. So I've talked about the Kimura before. They're human-possessed that, like the Galvorback, retain their consciousness. They retain the ability to think. Let's say that they're either directly or roughly equivalent. That means that maybe 10, maybe 15 of the Kimura can kill a Custodian. Which is exactly what I was talking about in that story that I was writing. As there's a group of 10 or 15 Blood Pack troops 20 Blood Pack troops with 2 Kimura who managed to put down a Custodian after a protracted fight, but still. So yeah, the Galvorback are the first Astartes demon hybrids. They are the first of the possessed. They originate from the Wordbearers Legion, and they essentially come after a long period in the warp, acclimatizes several Space Marines to the demons that then live inside of them. You get what I mean? So they are possessed, but unlike regular possessed, they're not insane, they're conscious, and they switch back and forth from a human form to an inhuman form. So that's how that shakes out. And again, it's questionable whether they're equivalent to human-possessed, but in my opinion, human-possessed can be just as big and scary as regular possessed. Yeah. So in the book, it's a group of 5 Galvorback. One of them gets a Guardian Spear thrown at him, and it kills him, but the rest of them absolutely rip the Custodes to pieces. And the Custodes knows he's going to die. He literally says, "Come at me, I'll die with the Emperor's name on my lips," basically. So they're aware that they're outmatched, and that's one of my favorite things. The Custodes aren't stupid. They don't buy into their own propaganda, essentially. They don't huff their own legend. They are aware of how limited they can be, which is why, before modern lore, they didn't, leave Terra, because they knew, well, if I die, which I very well could, that's one less Guardian of the Emperor. Yeah. See, it's questionable about numbers, but the thing is also, I think it matters more what they're armed with. So let's say, for a scenario here, you have Blood Pack troops. Is that a random tower guard? Yeah, it is. You have Blood Pack troops who are equipped with things like Hell Guns, Plasma Guns, auto cannons that they use as infantry, that kind of stuff, and they're legit Kimura. They are conscious possessed who are assisted by demonic powers within them. I think that makes them a pretty even match for a Custodian if it's a 1-on-20 or a 1-on-10 fight. And if they're assisted by a lot of mortals, it becomes an even more even fight. Because, reasonably enough, the Kimura are capable of quite impressive feats on their own. Talking about mass infiltration and defeat of enemy units far numerically superior to them. Because they take on demonic aspects like chitinous claws, psychic powers, any number of things. Also, white centaurs. What are these? Holy hell. Cool. Let's see if they can kill knights. Or an Albioni paladin. Hey. Psychic domination is cool. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, terrain's never number surprise. Yeah, in Gallinius, they were specifically aware that the Custodian was there, and they basically ambushed him by throwing a whole bunch of humans in the way. And the thing that I love about that story, I know I'm kind of talking about a lot. If you want to look up that story, it's on Archive of Our Own. It's on AO3. So if you look up the Long Tale of Gallinius or the Tale of Gallinius, you'll actually find my writing. Same thing with Edge of Night, if you'd like to read it. But the idea was essentially they're aware that a person that the Emperor considers valuable is on this Hive Rock Fullus, and they go out of their way to track him down. Originally, they think that he's an Astartes. They think that he's some sort of specialty marine or chapter master or something. They're trying to ambush and kill him as a propaganda point. But then when they realize it's a Custodian, they're like, oh shit, we get a chance to kill one of the Emperor's finest. And so they go out of their way, they send 2 Kimura, 10 or 15 Blood Pack troops, all of them with specialty weapons, hell guns, explosives, autocannons, power weapons, chainswords, etc. And they send a whole bunch of random cultists, including a very talented sniper, who is an ex-Imperial Guardsman. And all of them die. Every single one of the people laying in charge of this trap is dead by the end of the story, except for the sniper. And it's the sniper who manages to actually kill him, because she puts a round from what is essentially an anti-materiel rifle right through his eye. And manages like a 500-meter shot right through the weakened face of his armor plate, and basically shoots him right through the eye, and that's what finally puts him down. But that's after he gets, like, shot with plasma weapons, covered in explosives, he has a whole bunch of stuff detonated on his body, and every single time it's like, oh, a little chip is taken out of his armor, or a puff of dust, or any number of things. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about how their armor can get damaged over time, because Auramite is crazy. Auramite is wildly insane and powerful as a protective measure, but it's not invulnerable. You know, everything has physics applied to it when I write a story. So you're gonna end up with different situations there, and it's one of my favorite parts about that story, that even though they're ready for him, even though they're prepped for a Marine, even though they're going out of their way to try and kill him, they're going to ambush him, essentially, they still all die in the end. Because Custodians are wild, man. And it's just one. It's one against like 150. I still have all of them dying. Sorry, the previous thing. Yeah, the average 40k cult is going to put most effort into best demons and the most powerful host. So that's questionable. A lot of cults don't actually get to the step of creating demon hosts necessarily. Now, it is a possibility that a cult would want to do that. Oh my god, a heavenly sword. But it isn't a necessary factor of their existence. So cults can go into, essentially into business, so to speak, without any actual interference occurring. So, demonic interference essentially being, something bad happens where a demon gets into a human body. That doesn't necessarily have to happen. Excuse me for 1 second, I gotta go get a drink. But yeah, it's not a necessary thing that cults have to go the demon route. But if they do, for sure, they're going to try and centralize the amount of power that they can summon. Some cults are more conservative than others in those cases. You know, they go for weaker demons, they go for smaller, less virulent infestations, so to speak. But, yeah, that's not a necessity that they act like that. Some of them are quite liberal when it comes to infecting or infesting people. For example, lots of cults of Nurgle tend to overtake or encourage individuals in their cults to act as vessels. They want more and more people to get infected, so to speak. So they will basically encourage it. They will have more people participate in rituals in which that is the goal. And even more often than that, they will mess around with their own population, intentionally infect them with stuff, just to make sure that, hey, everyone's on the same page, right? We are all Nurgle worshippers, yeah? Yeah, they're nowhere close to they're nowhere close to a Primarch in terms of combat power, not even close. And I would say that they have better protection than Terminator armor in their standard armor is a pretty reasonable take, honestly. Like, I'm going to do a thing with averages, but Auramite is essentially comparing Ceramite to Auramite is like comparing rolled homogeneous steel to adamantium, essentially. It is that, like, oh, it's double. It's 2 times as effective. It's 2 times as protective. That would be my take on it. You know, it's better by a factor of 2. They're definitely not gods. They are durable, but really, the Custodian's durability is kind of overstated. As far as I know, they don't have any modification that makes them more durable than the average Space Marine. I mean, yes, there is their legendary reaction speed and stuff, but beyond that, which may be a factor of their armor more than everything else, because again, they're basically in Artificer armor at all times, even the most basic form of their armor is Artificer. That means that a lot of their durability is more based on their protection, on their armor, than it is on any actual internal factors, like, I don't know, their organs or such. So yeah, definitely not gods. I will talk about, like, there are some ways that are like, okay, best method to kill a Custodian. Really, they're pretty similar to the ones for Space Marines, but you have to go a step further. What I mean by a step further, it would be if shooting a Marine with a melt-a-gun or a las cannon would generally kill them, even if it's a glancing blow or something like a wounding hit, you need to guarantee that it's a killing blow. You need to hit them in the chest, in the head, something like that. That'll kill a Custodian. The way that I did it when I wrote about it was the Custodian suffers the following injuries. He has an injury that damages his hand, one that damages his wrist, and then he has 3 separate injuries that damage his helmet seal, and then eventually a plasma gun explodes on him, and he is killed by that. 1 second, I'll be back in a sec. Sorry about that, I'm right back. Apologies. So, Yes, so, have almost the same protection as a smaller AdMech robot. Well, I would say that it's slightly better than that, because the smaller AdMech robots are still only protected by steel. Unless you're referring to something very specific that has a shield. Most custodians do have a refractor field, and I don't usually... Castellax. I actually have no idea what that is. I'm gonna be honest with you. What exactly is that? Is it like a Castellan, but it's got a shield, or it's got a better shield or something? Also, Swamp God. What the fuck is this? Why is this... It's a light Castellan. I mean, aren't Castellans basically just protected by steel, though? Like, I couldn't see anything in their lore that said that they were protected by anything except for steel. And maybe, like, Mine Castellan? Mini Castellan? Are they protected by anything except for metal? I couldn't find anything that said that they... I mean, obviously they're protected by their shields, right? But is it anything more than that? Do you think? Or do you know more than... I don't know. I don't know. But either way, I think Auramite is better than most steel armor. Usually. Also, ochre jelly. Gross. But yeah, I think Auramite is generally better than most steel armor. It kind of makes up for a lot of the issues in Ceramite by being bonded with other materials. Usually, I kind of look at Auramite as a mix between Ceramite and Adamantium. It's kind of got the stats all the way turned up protection. So, you know, max thermal resistance and max kinetic resistance, or close to max. King's Garden. I gotta take this place again. But yeah, I'll look into that if you guys want, but yeah, it seems to me that a lot of the custodian protection is a lot more, not generic, but like regular than people say it is. I'm on board with a lot of it, but not every single little piece. Oh. Castellan and a Castellan are different? Castellan is a type of... So what exactly is the difference between them, then? What's the, like, functional difference? I'm not sure in that case what exactly the Castellan is. General purpose robot? Alright, well, I'll take your word for it, and I'll look it up later. But yeah, I think it's a pretty solid idea. The general purpose. See, I wasn't aware of any general purpose robots in the Adeptus Mechanicus, but maybe I just wasn't aware. Kind of assumed that robots were a very specific thing. Oh, well, yeah, okay. So, they are Castellan robots. They're still the, like, programmable bots. But they're kind of equipped with more general weaponry, I guess? Is that how you would say it? Yep, you have a good one. I'll be honest, this is probably only going to go on for another, I'd say 30 minutes. I'll probably get off at 9, to be honest, because y'all have been great, but I don't think anybody else is joining on. Not that that's a bad thing. I did just do this to make up for the fact that I only streamed for an hour and a half, and I did promise that I would stream for 2 hours, so... God forbid that I lie to y'all. Oh my god, that's a lot of flatulence. That's a whole bunch of men trying to kill themselves. Take care, homie. I wish you all the luck in the world. Alright. Get some more units out here. This has been kind of a whack-a-mole style game right now. Oh my goodness. Hyperion the Pan. Satyr spawn boost, Minotaur spawn boost. Oh, whoa. We got crazy hella stuff over here. Alrighty. This will be just fine. This dude has crazy magic, enchanted sleep, confusion, and summon wolves. Summon wolves is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Boots of Mountains and Vine Whip. That'll work. Easy dub. Any animals are just extra stuff for us to grab. Forest and bears. Hopefully we can get a giant. That would be hella nice. Yep, that would be so exactly what we just did. More bears, please. The more bears we can charm, the better this gets. Because bears are incredibly good in this game for some reason. I mean, with reason. General purpose Castellan robots are more comparable to Dreadnought protection in size. Well, Oh, Castellax. Those I know. Those I know what you're talking about now, Castellax. Those I do know. And yeah, those are pretty solid. Those are kind of like Archaeotech servitors. Those I know about. Not bad at all, honestly. And yeah, I think it'd be reasonable to say, I wouldn't say that they are equivalent to a Dreadnought in protection. Well, no, sorry, I wouldn't say that Custodians are equivalent to a Dreadnought in protection. But I would say that a Castellax is probably close. Not exactly the same, but I would say close. Especially to some of the, like, lower order Dreadnoughts. Also, I had a long conversation with a friend today about whether or not you could make Thousand Suns into Dreadnoughts. And that's something that I want to touch on in a future video, because he gave me some interesting ideas about how it might be done. Because I like the idea of Sorcerer Dreads for Chaos. It should be something that we get more often, to be honest. And the fact that we don't is kind of annoying to me. Yeah, so they're comparable to Terminators. I assume in the way that you mean comparable to Terminators, that means that they have both a refractor field and some solid ceramite protection. In which case, yes, of course, that would make a lot of sense. The real thing is just how much thermal and kinetic resistance they actually manage to have, while also being, like, mobile. Again, foot mobile is still mobile, but... But it doesn't mean that they're as mobile as other units. Custodians, I would definitely say, have the advantage of being basically as mobile as they want to be. and never really suffering any severe downsides to it. One of the great examples of that is how many Custodes can get into how many locations in such speed. Because they absolutely should not be as fast as they are with the size that they are, but, you know, Custodes, man. Yeah, falling under that class, but if one of them has a refractor field and one of them doesn't, or if one of them has ceramite armor, I would put it under a separate classification just because of protection level, you know? So, it's not necessarily a separate class of robot altogether in my mind. It would probably be just a separate class of, like, protection level. So one is the higher protection, one is the weaker. Yeah, well, not all of them, obviously. There are some that don't. But, in general, the Mechanicus ones tend to have automatic shielding, yes. But I'm more referring to the ceramite versus steel protection level. There are robots that don't have shields, very small ones, but there are still robots that don't have shields. Yeah, I got you the first time. Also, I'd like to say that refractor fields are not as reliable as people think they are. They are very, very power intensive, and they can cause some serious issues if you're relying on them too heavily, for obvious reasons. Power systems are not inexhaustible, and they should not be treated as such. Especially in, like, power armor. This is one of the other things. People always say, like, well, just because he has an X, usually it's an iron halo, they're like, he's just going to be able to turn aside whatever hits him. No. No, that's not how refractor fields work. They have a lot of very severe limitations in how they function. More often than not, they just kind of come to be of their own accord and then disappear of their own accord once more. They are not very reliable. Let's get rid of these folks. Dude, why are you still in my backline for no reason? I wonder if I can catch him. Whoa, what is that? Is that death on his pale horse? Oh, it actually is the Apostle of Plague. Holy crap. How am I supposed to kill that? That's literally Death himself. How is that fair? That does not seem fair. How is Death himself a unit in this game? What is this? Yeah, no offense, but flare shields and refractor fields are basically the same thing. They're pretty similar in how they work, with the big difference between automatic shielding and any type of, like, intermittent protection essentially being that it's better at controlling its power and it knows when to activate better. So automatic shielding will protect you from more stuff more consistently, and gravity shields, I doubt that would work against a lot of different stuff, but it would probably work similar to an all-around void shield. You know, if I was to break these down into how they work, it would be ones that are constantly up, constantly requiring energy, but being very arcane in nature, like void shields. That would probably be what grav shields are. Then automatic, yeah, Castellan and bigger, obviously. I'm talking like knight-sized things. Then for Ion, and for... Ion is kind of in a class of its own, because while it's up all the time, it works more like an automatic shield, where it protects you from more stuff, but not everything. And then there's the smaller, more mobile fields, things like refractors, flare fields. All that they really do is shoot up whenever something is particularly dangerous, or kind of when they feel like it, and generate in order to take in kinetic damage. So I would almost group them based on quality or on reliability more than anything. Holy hell, this dude's actually, like, not killing me instantly. Disease aura, diseased, gross. How am I fighting an aspect of death? Quite frankly, I have no idea how this is happening. I also don't know why I'm winning. That's the funny thing. How much health does this guy have? Quite a bit. Quite a bit. Wow. He's tough. He is tough. You know, I'll have to do some more research because I've never heard of flare shields before, I'll be honest with you. But I assume that they're kind of like refractor fields, which means that they're kind of intermittent. Well, I literally just killed an aspect of death itself. Do I get any reward for that? No, because this game hates me. I hate you so much. I hate these guys so much. Could you please stop running away? Thank you. Alright, time to die. There we go. There we go. Now you can finally stay out of my backline for 5 seconds. I would like some characters so I can go capture back the literally free territory that I just won, please. Alright, nice. That's some actual money that I can use now. Sweet. And I'll soon be able to get a lot more stuff. Your holy swords are not scary. I am taking your lunch money. Dude, these priests of El are hella annoying. Yeah, I know you're a pontiff. Oh my god, they're everywhere. They're like a disease. Please die. Dude, where are you even coming from? You're coming from my capital, straight up. Stop. Go away. Die painfully. Alright, sweet. Oh, dude, he literally just has a vine whip. Alright, nope, you're dead. You're so dead. Literally took 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Ah. There's the voice of El. Certainly took him long enough. Cast spell, prayers level 2. Alright, have an actual druid now. Oh, and her name's Graya. Like the Forge World. Weird. Alright. Sure, I guess. Alright, my magic is way, way better than yours. So, let's go, nerd. The forest wins 10 times out of 10. Alright, there we go. Free wine whip. Not... Oh, yep. I definitely just lost all those in the shallow sea because I'm an idiot. Alright, now I'm going to spend the next, like, 4 turns literally just... I don't care who dies of disease. It's not my problem. Alright, bear. Hopefully I can get some bears. Come on, baby. Let's go magic power. Alright. Now we literally just take like 3 turns and we just Call of Gaia repeatedly. What is your powers, dude? Fortitude, greater healing, enchanted sleep. That'll work. That will work. And minor animal summoning, just to get some extra chaff with the rest of our units. Shouldn't be any problem. Yeah, not really. We were ranting for a bit, or I was ranting for a bit about custodians, and then I was just talking for a little tiny bit about fields, and holy shit, Celestial Lions. These are like angels. Holy Vengeance. That doesn't sound good. Luckily, I have like 30 white centaurs, so I should be just peachy. And I also have a very experienced dryad. No comment there on what that means, but at least my magic is absolutely peak at the moment, and hopefully I can charm some of them because they look like animals, and I am allowed to charm animals, so yeah. It's mostly been talks about custodians, talking about how to nerf their legend. Oh my god, I just got an angel as a free unit. Literally freer than dog water. No, I would like to pick that up, please. I did not leave that behind. I would like to pick that up. Am I not allowed to pick this up? It's just like... Oh, so it's just like a random friend of mine that goes and kills people. Good deal. Works for me. You are coming with me. Oh, what item do you have? Oh, he's got a firebrand, a flaming sword. Cool. Currently, I'm dealing with a gem of concentration and a vine whip. That's pretty nice. I have a satyr with a sword of heroes. What's wrong with you? Oh, bro, you have so many injuries. Disease, debilitating wound, never healing wound. What are you saying? Castellites are probably the same as more comparable to Terminators, with less adamantium, more ceramite. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know them all that well, but sure. If that's the case, I'm sure that they are more in the way of custodians than they are in the way of anything else. Literally, you say that's an unpopular opinion, but that was literally what everyone agreed on in chat. All of us agreed they shouldn't have been sent out to the rest of the Imperium. All three of us were like, no, that was a terrible idea. They should have just been left as the Emperor's Guardians. It's not an unpopular opinion. We all agree that was a bad idea. Oh, by the way, if you like the Custodians, could you do me a favor? I wrote a story on AO3 on Archive of Our Own called The Long Tale of Gallinius, or The Tale of Gallinius. And it's under my username, like it is with all stuff. But it's actually a story about the Custodes, and if you'd like to read it, it's a really fun one. You know, you don't have to, but I had a really fun time writing it, and my goal was to write a realistic scenario in which humans could kill a custodian. And I think I did a pretty alright job, and I had a lot of fun with it, so I'd love to share that one around, because it's a great story. And I think it'll give people maybe a little bit of insight into how my brain works, I hope. Or my mentality, rather, before I start a video on them. Thank you, I appreciate it. The other one that is up there is Edge of Night, which is a story that I have been working on for several years as part of a kind of a long-standing project or a long-standing process. I've got a lot of custom art for it, and it's a kind of a more common AO3 work, if you know what I mean. It's a much more standard Astartes story. Granted, it's Chaos Astartes, but still much more of that, where I try and analyze how a warband might work. That type of situation. But yeah, I appreciate that, and hang around. We're gonna be here for at least another half hour or so. So if you're chilling, just chill with us. Ask whatever questions you got. We got lots of stuff going on, and I'm chilling with my dryad over here. Got some wild stuff going on, and I'm getting towards the very tail end of my day. I'm not exactly familiar with Dynasty Warriors, but if you mean that, like, everything compared to them is kind of chaff-like, yeah, I'd agree to that. They're not very good, necessarily as... They're not as good as the lore tends to turn out, but people treat them as such a lot of the time. Often unfairly. And we were talking about how during the Crusades and during the Heresy, they were treated with a lot less reverence. They were a lot less godlike than they are in the modern lore. And we were kind of reasoning out why or how that might be and their protection level. But yeah, that's an entire video on its own. And a very different one. Ooh, a Pikeneer and an Elder Dragon. Hjalmungunar, the Elder Dragon. I wonder if I can charm and or kill an Elder Dragon. We will have to see. I am a confident man. A very confident man. Some would say too confident. But I am sure that this battle is going to be an easy W. Easy dub. Firebrand, always a good pick. Alright. I am going to kill that Elder Dragon. Alright. Got a Sage and Thelion. Pretty solid. He has Paralyze and Moonlight, both good spells. Hopefully we can crush out these units and get everything taken care of in relative ease. Yeah, easy. Yeah, I really have always held true to the idea that big guns beat Custodians 100% of the time. Essentially, my point has always been, what if a Demolisher shell just lands on a Custodian? And it's kind of like a litmus test. If somebody says to you anything other than the Custodian dies when they get hit by heavy artillery, you can kind of write off and be like, okay, well, they're clearly biased. They don't really understand or care about the logic. Yeah, they don't care about the logic. They don't care about reality. They just care about making sure that the special boys are special. And I'm not saying, like, you write people off for that. I'm not saying you, like, get upset with them for doing that. I'm just saying, like, you know what they're working with in terms of mentality when they go, well, it just doesn't do anything because of their armor, or, well, they just get out of the way of it. Yeah, you can basically discount their logical opinion because they're not working off of logic. They very simply don't care about keeping logical consistency. It doesn't matter as much to them as obviously it matters to us. We care about logical consistency. We care about a lot of different things that are, well, very important to us. Yeah, Terminators will die to that. Absolutely. Oh, man. I hate to keep bringing up corrupt contenders, but there was a situation recently where a whole bunch of Nurgle Terminators were going through a trench line or a series of trench lines, and they were getting absolutely hammered with, like, 600 or 700 barrels of mortar rounds, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're gonna lose, like, 2 or 3 Terminators. And the person I was playing with was like, what? How are Terminators dying to mortar rounds? And I'm like, via sheer attrition, dude. You're gonna get your head busted in. There's, you know, kinetic reverberation that occurs when you get hit with a mortar round. And, we had to have a conversation about how explosives affect power armor. But, yeah, great example of that would be Custodians and how people just pretend that their armor is invulnerable to everything. I might not have been ready for an Elder Dragon, but who knows? We'll see. I don't know. In 5th edition, in D&D, Elder Dragons are easy as hell to kill. So, you know, who knows? He did scare all of my cheap units, though, which is unfortunate. Oh, he's paralyzed, or he's asleep. That's fine. We get him. We get him here. Siege of Rax. Yep. Yep. Yeah, oh my god, you're so fucking right, you don't even, like, you're so fucking right, you don't even know it. You're so right. But It's even worse than that. I treat Marines like Marines in the Marine Corps. They're a heavy offensive unit meant to be used in that way. Once they lose the momentum, once they get out of sorts, once that offensive push that breaks up all the enemies is gone, they're screwed. They're screwed, and it's hard for them to pull out of the fight. That's the other thing. Most of them are traveling at the speed of foot. And while they can sprint, a Marine sprinting through a battlefield in one direction, oh my god, what a sniper's paradise. What a sniper's paradise it would be. And this is one of the reasons I actually wanted to review. I might actually review some videos for the next stream, but I wanted to review the video. Oh god, what's it called? Oh man, it's the one with the excoriators or whatever chapter it is, where they're dealing with all those UVath tech. Because there's a guy in that with a full autocannon, and I'm like, look what it does. Look how effective medium to high caliber autocannons can be against Marines. Think how awesome it would be if you set up in a sniper's post and you saw a bunch of Marines running away from you and you just clack, 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 and you popped like 3 Marines. And it would work so well. It would work so well. Yeah. Nurgle's Chaos teammates are more protected than others, but still, I think it's a lot of both. They're more protected, but they're also just a lot more durable and more stubborn against death. This is going to be a grinding fight. This dude is... He's lost an eye. He's stupid. Oh man, he's nasty. Oh man, he's got mass spells too. That's hella cool. Yeah. Some Marines are written as smart as regular Marines in real life, because, you know, there are Chaos Marines. Like in Gaunt's Ghost, there are Chaos Marines who are written to be absolute idiots. I'm not even joking. There are Chaos Marines who are written to be so stupid that a regular human can just sneak up on them and insta-kill them. That happens. Gaunt cuts a Chaos Space Marine in half at the waist with a power sword. You want to know how he got the drop on him? He hid behind a fucking tree. That's how. He hid behind a fucking tree. He literally stands behind a tree with a power sword, and then when the Marine walks by, he cuts him in half at the waist, and the Marine is just dead. And imagine, just for a second, imagine if a Chaos Cultist with a power sword hid behind a tree and managed to kill an Ultramarine. How many Ultramarines fans would fucking riot if that happened? And yet it's fine to do it to Chaos Marines. What a joke. What an actual joke that scene was. I like that book, but that is just the most hilarious double standard in the universe. Yeah. Ludicrous amounts of shock and attack, however they don't shatter them at the first go, you die. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Same thing with teleportardums for Terminators. Yeah, the all-guardsman party. Are you talking about, like, for Only War and stuff like that? Yeah, it's a thing, for sure. Holy, this is a 3-headed dragon. This thing is tough. Very tough. It's only got 14 health yet. Come on, someone hit this thing. Some amount of killing, please, for the love of God. Giant, throw a rock. There we go. Oh, I got it. I got it. It's dead. He was having a drag through? What does that mean? Are you referring to the Marine? Oh my god. There's so many items from one fight, too. Look at all that gold, baby! That's hella gold! Bottled spirit. Oh, it summons a dispossessed spirit. Alright. Got lots of items on all of these guys. Serpent Amulet, Boost to the Mountains, Firebrand, all that stuff. Hella good stuff on all of these guys. We got staffs. Some melee items up here. Vine Whip. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. He was on a... a drag. I apologize. I am not British. But yes, I understand what you mean. Yeah, he was having a drag, I'm sure. I'm sure he was just, you know, chilling by the smoke, chilling and having smoko. I don't know. I know smoko is a thing in Australia. Is smoko a thing in the UK? I'm not sure. They kind of treat it like it's just any generic break during the day. I don't know if it's the same thing. We'll see. I don't know. Scene where all the guardsmen party, they kill 2 Iron Warriors, juicing up a bunch of guardsmen with Slot and friends on and giving them chainswords. They shove the Marines off a cliff. Yeah. Yeah, there's just a... I can't tell you that there isn't a double standard amongst Chaos Marines. And there's a reason for that. I don't want to sound salty just for the sake of being salty. There's a very good reason why most Chaos Marines are seen as inferior to Loyalists. But it's a pretty ridiculous reason in a lot of cases. You don't know you're from Arizona? I apologize. I do not assume anyone is from anywhere. But, yeah. So, in the case of, like, humans with chainswords against Iron Warriors, on one hand, Iron Warriors are not known for their melee prowess, let's be honest. On the other hand of things, I think that's a little bit much. I think that's a little bit much. Maybe a bit ambitious for a majority of average humans. But then again, we've seen worse bias. My best example would probably be... My best example of outright bias would probably have to be something in the vein of Ultramarine bias. How it gets really bad. Oh, yeah, no. Well, here's the thing. Friends-on tends to kill the user. Which is one of the reasons why you don't use it unless you are really sure that you're gonna die otherwise. Friends-on is not safe for regular humans to use. And there are certain other ones, there's like... There's a lot of combat drugs that are not safe for you to use. But Friends-on is definitely one of them. And yeah. Oh, shoot. Alright. Humans should never beat up an uninjured, undistracted Space Marine in close combat. I disagree. I actually do disagree with that. A lot, actually. Because, 2 reasons. 1, human weapons can be just as lethal as Space Marine weapons. For example, humans can use power weapons. And 2, Space Marines versus humans, it comes down to a lot of skill and a lot of strength, and if a human is aware of those differences between him and a Space Marine, they can overcome them. The other thing that I would say as well is there are certain advantages that you can have as a human that make you more equal. For example, you can have human pattern power armor, which is one of the reasons that I put Nadzibar and Urlok Gower as able to kill other Space Marines, because both of them use power armor or powered combat suits, which means that they are as protected and as strong as a Space Marine in power armor. So I'd put it as possible, but very difficult. Now, the other thing is, you know, should a human with a las cannon be able to shoot a Marine's head off? Of course. Absolutely. No question there. It's definitely possible. But that's not close combat. So, close combat, you definitely want a power weapon. And you definitely want to be aware of the disadvantages that you have with a Marine. Now, if you are an unnatural or an augmented human, someone like a possessed, a Kimura, any type of modified human or a blessed human who has a lot of chaos blessings that makes you stronger, faster, smarter, a lot of experience can come into this, but you are definitely at a disadvantage. So you're not flipping a coin with a fight between a human and a Space Marine, but in a fight between a human demagogue and a Space Marine, it's actually not as uneven as you might think, because the demagogue has a lot of tricks up their sleeves. They might have psychic weaponry, they might have magic, they might have explosives, they might have any number of countermeasures, including things like refractor fields, that can help even the odds or give them the opportunity to kill them. Even a regular human with no power armor? Yes. Yes, it is way harder, and it goes from like a 50-50 with power armor to a lot less, but that's assuming everything is in your favor. You are faster than the average human, stronger than the average human, tougher, you are blessed, you are equipped with power weapons, you are protected by some level of high protection armor, and you are an experienced duelist. In that case, yes, I do think there are situations where a human can kill a standard Space Marine. I'm not talking a captain, I'm not talking a sergeant or anything like that, no officer probably, but a assault marine, or especially a standard marine, because what is a standard marine dueling with, right? He's dueling with a Astartes combat blade. And Astartes combat blade, while good, is dramatically inferior to a power weapon. And if I were to compare the two of them, the dude with the power weapon is probably going to come up dramatically on top. And again, that's assuming, best case scenario, you're fighting a standard line marine while you have a refractor field, heavy carapace armor, a power sword, a plasma pistol, and you're absolutely a talented duelist. In that situation, I think you can 1v1 the average marine and have a solid chance of winning. But that's not always the case, right? Sometimes they're just some random crazy old man psyker who is relying on their magic, and in which case they can just blast a marine out of existence. Or if they're relying on a force weapon or some sort of other psychically active weapon like a staff, that might make a big difference. So that would be my reasoning on that, and if you'd like to hear more about that, we would probably have to talk about dueling between the races, and humans fighting Space Marines and what you have to do to overcome them. But yes, I think that a regular human with no power armor can kill or outduel a standard marine, and I think even the absolute max level of them might be able to go toe-to-toe, the average demagogue, with a sergeant who has maybe a chainsword and a bolt pistol, or a chainsword and a plasma pistol. Now, talking lieutenants and captains, can I publish a stream? Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to. Yeah, if you'd like me to, why? Why? May I ask why? And yeah, it will publish naturally. It's just a thing of I have to note it and choose not to delete it. I deleted the other ones because they were short. But yeah, if we're talking about the most powerful Chaos Demagogue to ever live, I would probably put that as Arkan Nadzibar, because there is not a single human demagogue who has ever reached that level of power in the history of the Imperium of Man. There has never been a mortal demagogue to control an entire sector of Imperial space. That has never happened in the history of the Imperium, and he has not only fought Space Marines, he has fought a Space Marine Terminator captain, and lived to tell the tale, and killed other Space Marine Terminators in his final battle. Not to mention anything that he may have done before that point, which was a career of well over 100 years of conflict with the Imperium in addition to Space Marines. So, Nadzibar is probably the strongest to ever exist in the history of the Imperium, with Erlock Gower being a close second, both of them using power armor. How did he kill the Terminators? Two things. So, at the end of his life, and again, this is basing off of things that existed around the lore, but it's not super specific, but the gate of the Basilica that he was in at the end of his life was being besieged by the entire first company of the Silver Guard, and they fight in the gate with Ibram Gaunt, and with the Harkoni Warhawks, or with whatever chapter or whatever company he was leading, and they fight for hours. And Nadzibar is trying to become a Chaos, a prince. He's trying to become a Chaos Prince because it's the very end of his life. He's realized that he's trapped. All of his allies have deserted him, or he's sent them off-world. He's saved as many people as he can, and now he's determined to bring this multiple-month combat to an end in either a victory or a brutal defeat for the Imperium. That battle at the gate, the Silver Guard do not win, but they do manage to penetrate. And when they penetrate, when they get through the Basilica, when they get through the Doctrinopolis that he's been hiding in, Slato is with them. Slato is the War Master for the Sabbat Worlds Crusade. He's already injured at the Basilica Gate. We know that. We know that he receives a near-lethal gut wound. He's stabbed in the stomach, basically. And with him is the entire first company of the Silver Guard, including their chapter master as far as we know. So, this first company of the Silver Guard, their chapter master, and Slato are the ones who make the penetration into the Doctrinopolis. And we know that the Silver Guard engage the Blood Pact, the Death Brigade, who are Nadzibar's personal protectors. We know this because we know that the Death Guard are protecting the Doctrinopolis. So they penetrate the defenses, they get through the gate, but they aren't the ones to kill Nadzibar. They would obviously be ahead of Slato. He's the War Master, he wouldn't be leading the charge. And yet, after Nadzibar fails to achieve ascension, after he suffers all these failures, after he isn't able to become a prince, and after he suffers all these mutations, he comes down to fight them himself. And he is so fearsome. He is so deadly at that point. He is so juiced up with chaos energy and mutation in his power armor, with power sword, with staff, and with likely some sort of Volkite or plasma weapon. He's able to fight off the Terminators to the point where Slato is able to engage him in single combat. So we know that this happens. We know that the Terminators penetrate, that they manage to get inside, but they don't kill Nadzibar. Nadzibar manages to get in a one-on-one fight with Slato. Now, this is proof that, obviously, Slato is not going to be at the very front. He's a 152-year-old man. Granted, he's in power armor too, but still, he's not going to be at the front line. That means that Nadzibar and the Death Brigade are fighting with the first company of the Silver Guard. They are fighting Terminators and the Captain, and they manage to penetrate through that line until Slato steps up and faces Nadzibar personally. And they fight in a one-on-one duel until both of them are dead. They both die by the end of that fight. So, Nadzibar is capable of killing First Company Terminators during the Battle of the Doctrinopolis, because we have the evidence that the Silver Guard go in, including their chapter master, most likely. Again, it's the entire First Company deploying. They penetrate, but Slato is the one who comes in contact with and fights Arca Nadzibar in a one-to-one duel. This means that the Terminators absolutely made contact with Nadzibar, because there's no way that Slato would be the first one into the breach after days and days and days of fighting through the gate. So, Nadzibar and the Death Brigade absolutely kill, probably, I would argue, at least a couple squads of Terminators, and manage to fight off the Chapter Master, because Slato is forced to come to the fore and face Nadzibar personally in one-on-one combat. And they kill each other. Both of them being almost 152 years old, I might add. They are both ancient by the time of this battle. Nadzibar has been through decades upon decades of serving the Dark Gods, of giving worlds over to them, on reaping... Yeah. You want to show the stream to one of your friends? Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you go now. Was that an acceptable explanation of why I believe that? Nadzibar, like I said, is the pinnacle. He is probably the most powerful human demagogue who wasn't a prince in the history of the Imperium of Man. There is no one who has reached this pinnacle of power without becoming a demon prince. And he stays human until the end of his days. They don't even allow him to become a prince at the end. Yeah, it is a... Sorry, I'm sorry, was I just ranting for like a straight 10 minutes? I'm sorry. My apologies, friends. I sometimes let the spirit get a little bit of the better of me. Alright. Y'all are both wonderful. I appreciate you sitting with me. I will talk about Nadzibar again. Obviously. But, yes, it's one of the most epic battles in the history of the Sabbat Worlds Crusade. The Siege of Balhaut. The Battle of Balhaut in general, which lasts for weeks, if not months, and years of planning ahead of time. It is a very impressive conflict, and it leaves so much up to the imagination because we don't have a book on it. It just kind of happens, and then the Sabbat Worlds Crusade series starts after it occurs, with Gower in charge. So, this great leader head, this individual who was in charge of all the other Chaos forces, he dies at Balhaut. Arkanadzibor meets his end on Balhaut, but on the Loyalist side, Slato is dead as well. The Archon, the Archon of the Sabbat Worlds, and the War Master of the Sabbat Worlds die together at the same age. They're both ancient warriors who have been around for centuries, again, almost 152 years each, and they die together on this battlefield, and it's not really talked about. And I want to analyze this battle in much more detail because it's really important to me as I am taking on the aspect of the Archon. I'm taking on that responsibility and mantle of being the Blood Pact's leader. So, with that in mind, I wish you all a lovely good night.